Hi everyone, it's Fred again from Notes of a Nomad, video number 334. Today I want to talk about why do people see the same presentation so differently? Have you ever noticed that two people can sit through exactly the same speech or movie or theatrical performance and come away with completely different opinions? Recently, I attended a Broadway show here in Victoria. It was a touring company, so it was relatively expensive. I bought the cheapest ticket I could find just for the experience. I was sitting in the nosebleed section in the top balcony in the last row. There was only a wall behind me. I could have wore a big top hat and wouldn't have disturbed anyone behind me because there was no one behind me. The lady next to me, or a couple seats over, inquired, if you don't mind me asking, how much did you pay for your ticket? And she said, I bought mine a couple weeks ago, and it was American dollars. By the time I converted, it was over 200 Canadian dollars. And that's the case when you have a touring American Broadway show. I guess their tickets are expensive. Mine was around $80. She had paid three times the price. So I just want to mention that because in the interval or intermission, we exchanged thoughts, and it was a disappointing show on both of our sides. But a lot of people, when we were walking out of the theater, I was listening to people saying, oh, that was so great. It was inspiring. Not many people were like us who had said, I didn't get much out of it. In fact, my experience that I mentioned in a previous video of Hadestown in the local high school was a better performance or production than this was. Even though this was slick, it had obviously lots of money spent on the lighting and the sets, and the people were all, professionals. Didn't do it for me, and it didn't do for the lady who paid over $200 sitting a couple seats away. But how can it happen when people, have experienced the same event? And the answer is they didn't really experience the same event. So let's explain that. Imagine every person comes from around, or they carry around a set of invisible lenses. These lenses are made up of their life experiences, their beliefs, their values, their culture, their education, their personality, and even their mood at that time. So everything we see and hear passes through those lenses. For example, a presentation about retirement might have a very different meaning to someone in their 20s to someone like me in my 80s. Or a story about immigration might resonate with somebody who is, deeply, who's lived in several countries, while another person who's connected entirely a different part of the message because they haven't had that experience. Or even our emotional state can matter. If you've had a great day and may be open to the message, but if you're tired and worried or distracted, you may hear the same words, but react quite differently. One audience member may focus on the speaker's facts and evidence, and another might focus on the stories. A third might pay attention to the speaker's confidence, their body language, or maybe sense of humor. In other words, we're not all watching the same presentation. We're each creating our own version of it. This helps explain why feedback can vary so much. A speaker may receive one evaluation saying, excellent use of personal stories. Another says, needed more facts and data. Neither person is necessarily right or wrong. They simply value different things. Understanding this can make us more tolerant of differing opinions. And that's the key. When someone disagrees with our assessment of a speech or a movie or a performance, it doesn't automatically mean that one of us has missed the point. It may simply mean that we brought our different experiences and expectations into the room. As communicators, this is an important lesson. We cannot control how every person will interpret our message, but we can try to understand our audience, speak clearly, recognize that every listener is viewing our message through their own unique set of values. I'll just show you what I mean by what I've said. This can probably help us. The one person would see, yeah, that's 66. The other would say, no, it's 99. Or when somebody looks at a tree, they might see, oh, look at the lumber. Others will say, oh, look at the firewood. Someone will say, oh, look at the furniture. Another person will say, look at the lovely tree. So I think in summary, just because you are right and you think it's 6 does not mean I'm wrong because I think it's 9. You just haven't seen life from my side. So, in summary, perhaps we try and understand our audience, speak clearly, and recognize that every listener is viewing it through their own unique set of lenses. And perhaps that's one of the reasons why I find communication is so fascinating and belong to Agri Speakers International. The message may be the same, but the experience is always personal. And that's why we don't all see the same presentation. So with that, I wish you adios, au revoir, and you and your family and friends lots of love and laughter. Until next time, bye for now from Fred and Notes of a Nomad.